Welcome to another Balanced Body podcast. My name is Chantill Lopez, and I am co-owner of Pilates Collective in Sebastopol, California. Helping me today is Melissa Kakavas, and we're going to be working with some variations on bridging. These variations are meant to help you develop some more flexibility in your spine, to strengthen the hamstrings, the glutes, and the entire back, and also to give you a sense of working with your inner thighs a little bit more deeply in the bridge position. So Melissa's lying down. She's going to start with her knees hip-width apart, feet on the floor. And because I want to focus on the inner thighs, she's going to start with a squishy ball or small, round, soft ball between the knees. And this is going to be a way for her to track her legs in relationship to the movement throughout the exercise variations. So you can do one of two things. You can place it towards the knees, or if you have knee discomfort in that place, you can bring it a little higher towards the thighs. So let's bring it a little higher towards the thighs. It also helps if it's higher towards the pelvis to give you a little more connection between the inner thighs and the pelvic floor. So to begin, Melissa's going to make sure that her shoulders are resting on the floor and her arms are reaching nice and long towards her heels. She's going to take 3 regular bridges, so just rolling through the spine to come up and rolling through the spine to come down. The breath work we're going to use is an inhale as a preparation. As she exhales, she's going to work from the abdominals by deepening the belly and then letting the tail float up, rolling through each vertebra until she's just resting across the top of the shoulders, making sure there's no tension or weight on the neck, but she's got the weight across the broad width of her shoulders. She's going to take an inhale here at the top, let the ribs drop, let the sternum soften, creating a little more length in the spine as she comes all the way down, finally releasing the tail. Take another breath in and exhale. Work from the abdominals, glide the sitting bones forward, and she comes up. Make sure that you come into a very long neutral bridge. So if you can gaze down the line of your body, you can notice if the ribs are in line with each other or if they're uneven, and the same with the pelvis. All the way down, arms reaching long. Take a breath in again. So this is our third, just basic bridge. We're just getting warmed up. She's got balanced weight in her feet. Stay here for me this time, Melissa. She's going to take another breath, and this is a nice thing to do as you're preparing to get a nice workout out of the whole series. Let the ribs drop a little bit. Is she's going to wrap the thighs inward towards the ball a little bit. Take another breath, and then she's going to pulse as she squeezes 5 times. Really thinking of drawing the tops or fronts of the thighs towards the ball, so there's this tiniest bit of inward rolling of the thighs. And then pause. Take a breath in and exhale, roll down slowly. Want to let your collarbones relax as you come down and rest. So the second part of this series is we're going to have Melissa come up, and she's going to work into a twist through the rib cage and then rest and then a twist through the pelvis. So we're trying to get that movement flexibility through the upper back and through the lower back. So take a breath in to begin. And exhale, just giving the ball a gentle squeeze. You don't want to overwork this. It's just there as a reminder. Again, there's a little bit of inward rolling towards the ball. So working from the rib cage, she's going to let one side of the rib cage dip towards the floor. The waist and pelvis are going to go with her and then come back up. And then the other side of the pelvis dips down and then come back up. On the inhale, exhale, let one side dip down. Inhale, come back up, and exhale. And the ball is there to help you make sure that you're not moving with the legs too much, but the movement's actually happening in the upper spine. Last one on the other side, and she comes up to rest. Inhale and exhale. Let those ribs soften and the arms reach. Good. And now we're going to do the pelvis. Take a breath in and exhale as you roll back up. Same position, not letting the ribs come higher than the hips. So the same thing on the pelvis. She's going to let one hip drop towards the floor as the other hip goes towards the ceiling. Exhale as you switch sides. Inhale as you come up, and exhale as you go down. There you go. Inhale as you come up, and exhale. We do 2 more sets. We're going to let the chest and ribs relax a little bit and make sure there's not a lot of tension in the hands so that you're not holding all of the effort there. Still being mindful of the thighs drawing towards the ball. And then pause, inhale, and exhale as you roll down. So at this point, you might want to bring the knees into the chest to give your back a little rest. So we're going to let Melissa do that. And just hug the knees in and take 2 big breaths into your back. And this is a nice release. Allows the back to broaden. You've been doing a lot of work there, so make sure that you take time to take care of your back in this position. So moving on, she's going to bring her feet back down to the mat, and I'm going to put the ball back. We're going to work with the ball a little higher in the knees or in the thighs this time. So for this next variation, when we take the ribs and hips into a side-to-side glide, it's really important to be clear about the spinal position when you come up into your bridge. So unlike how we started, Melissa's going to come up only to the tip of her shoulder blades. So you want a little bit of softening in the sternum. She's going to come down even a teeny bit more. Now, that way we can really focus on the movement of the rib cage. So the first part of this is to move the ribs like a typewriter carriage to the side and then to the other side. It's a very small movement. The thighs stay drawing in towards the ball to give her stability through the legs and pelvis. And one more time, even a little smaller. So really, really less is more in this exercise. And come back to center. We're going to move right into the pelvis. So she's going to roll down over her ribs until her lower ribs are just about touching. And then she's going to move the hips side to side. Still, it's a very small movement. Let the ribs come down a little bit more. Yeah, this is great abdominal work too. You're going to get this nice deep scoop. So think of really curling the tail under. Let those ribs drop down just a little bit more. Beautiful, that's it, perfect. And back to the side, and then finally back to center. Inhale here, Melissa, and come all the way down. So again, it's important that these movements are done really small to get the most out of them, and so that they translate into the next exercise. So to put it all together, we're going to circle, Melissa's going to circle her torso to the left, down into a scoop to the right and back up again, never coming beyond a neutral position. So take a breath in and exhale. Little squeeze into the ball, deepen the abdominals, and come up just a little bit higher. Good. So you can see that she's just a tiny bit elongated. Now she's got this nice scoop through her low back. She's going to begin the exercise by sliding her ribs and hips to the side. Curl the ribs down, sweep gently to the other side, and bring the ribs and hips up together and just to this neutral position. And then let the ribs soften. It's a softening through the chest and the ribs. And the legs stay pretty still. Little smaller to the side, curl, small to this side, scoop the pelvis. There you go. And now change directions, Melissa, to this side, and then scoop. That's it. Slide the ribs. That's it. Keep those ribs connected. Slide to the side. Draw the ribs down. You want to feel the back of the ribs connect to the mat. Bring the hips with you. One last time. And come down. That's it. Perfect. And across. Bring the hips with you. Connect through the center. So when you're doing your circles, try not to lose this connection between your center, especially if you're very flexible. Stay connected. Even though you're gliding, as you come back, feel the ribs and hips in line with each other. Take a breath in, Melissa, and exhale, roll down. And relax. Go ahead and bring your knees in to rest. And that's our bridging series. Thanks for joining us.